The officer looked at Nir Golan, then at the details of the complaint, and suggested quite plainly that pursuing it would be a lot of wasted effort. Imagine that. You've just been subjected to vile anti-Semitic slurs, death threats and Nazi salutes in public, a profound attack on your identity and safety. And the official response from the very people sworn to protect you is to suggest you just let it go. That moment, heavy with disbelief and a chilling sense of betrayal, wasn't an isolated incident. It was the crushing reality for Nir, and it laid bare a deeply troubling truth about how some of our institutions respond when hate rears its ugly head. Nir Golan was a man who, like many Australians, believed in the promise of a fair go. He was a long-term resident of Sydney, living in one of the city's inner west suburbs, an area known for its vibrant multicultural fabric. For years Nir had built a life there, a quiet, decent existence. He was a professional, contributing to the community, paying his taxes and expecting in return the basic protections and civility that underpin Australian society. His family, like countless Jewish families across this country, had found a home here, embracing the freedoms and opportunities Australia offered. They were proud Australians, but that pride was always intertwined with the deep roots of their heritage, a heritage that sadly still makes him a target for some. Nir wasn't looking for trouble, he was simply trying to live his life, a life that until this point had largely been free of such overt hatred. He understood the complexities of a diverse society, the occasional friction, but he never imagined he would face such a brazen, terrifying display of anti-Semitism on his own doorstep. The incident itself was a chilling escalation of what had perhaps started as minor, unsettling encounters. It happened on a busy street in a suburban Sydney shopping precinct, a place Nir frequented, a place that should have felt safe. He was going about his day when he encountered another man, someone he'd had minor unpleasant interactions with before, but this time it was different. This time the man launched into an unprovoked tirade. The words were venomous, deeply personal, and undeniably anti-Semitic. Slurs were hurled, vile stereotypes invoked, and then the chilling crescendo, death threats. As if that wasn't enough, the man punctuated his hateful outburst with Nazi salutes, a gesture that carries with it the weight of unimaginable historical horror and violence. Nir stood there, stunned, exposed, and utterly vulnerable. This wasn't just an argument, it was an act of intimidation, an assault on his dignity, and a direct threat to his safety purely because of his Jewish faith. He knew instinctively that this could not be ignored. It wasn't just about him, it was about the insidious creep of prejudice and the fundamental right to feel safe in your own community. So shaken but resolute, Nir did what any law-abiding citizen would do. He contacted the New South Wales Police. What followed, however, wasn't the swift, reassuring response one would hope for. Instead, Nir found himself navigating a frustrating and disheartening bureaucratic maze. He reported the incident, detailing the slurs, the threats, the Nazi salutes. He provided what evidence he could, recounted the timeline, and explained the profound impact it had on him. But according to his later testimony to the Royal Commission into Anti-Semitism, the police response was less than satisfactory. He was told on more than one occasion that there wasn't much that they could do. The case, he was informed, would ultimately get thrown out. The suggestion was clear: pursuing this would be a lot of wasted effort. This wasn't just a casual dismissal, it felt like a systemic reluctance to acknowledge the severity of the hate crime. The officers, it seemed, viewed it as a difficult, perhaps unwinnable case rather than a crucial opportunity to uphold the law and protect a citizen from targeted hatred. Near felt not just let down but actively discouraged from seeking justice. The message, whether intended or not, was that the system itself might not be prepared to defend him against such overt anti-Semitism. This experience unfortunately is not unique, and it speaks to a broader challenge in how hate crimes are sometimes processed within our justice system. Nir Golan's story eventually reached the Royal Commission into Anti-Semitism, a critical forum established to examine the nature and prevalence of anti-Semitism in Australia. This wasn't a criminal trial in the traditional sense, but a searching inquiry, a public reckoning with a deeply uncomfortable truth. When Nir gave his evidence before Commissioner Virginia Bell, his testimony was harrowing. He recounted the incident itself, but just as importantly, he detailed the subsequent interactions with the New South Wales Police. The Commission heard how police allegedly told him the investigation would be a lot of wasted effort, and that the case would get thrown out. This wasn't a matter of legal technicalities, it was about the perceived attitude of the institution towards a victim of hate. The stakes were incredibly high, not just for Nir but for the wider Jewish community, and indeed for all Australians. The Commission's role was to uncover systemic issues, to understand why a citizen experiencing a targeted hate crime might feel abandoned by the very people meant to protect them. Nir's evidence highlighted a crucial point: justice isn't just about convictions, it's about the entire process from the initial report to the final outcome, and whether a victim feels heard, respected, and genuinely supported. His testimony wasn't just about the man who threatened him, it was about the institutional response, or lack thereof, to that deeply troubling behavior. The Royal Commission into Anti-Semitism doesn't deliver criminal convictions or award damages in the same way a court or tribunal like NCAT or VCAT might. Its resolution is different. It's about exposing truths, making recommendations, and ultimately shaping policy and public understanding. Nir Golan's testimony, alongside countless others, became part of a larger collective narrative that painted a stark picture of anti-Semitism in Australia. The Commission's findings and recommendations, when they are eventually handed down, will represent a crucial milestone. They will aim to address not only the overt acts of hatred but also the systemic failures and institutional biases that allow such hatred to fester or go unaddressed. While Nir didn't see his assailant convicted or receive a monetary award, his courage in sharing his story contributed to a much broader pursuit of justice, a quest for accountability, for greater protection for vulnerable communities, and for a society that truly upholds its values of respect and safety for everyone. The resolution in this context is a promise of systemic change, a commitment to learning from past failures so that no Australian is told their experience of hate is a wasted effort. What Nir Golan's experience means for Australians is profound. It's a stark reminder that even in a country that prides itself on a fair go, prejudice and hatred can still surface, and sometimes the institutions we rely on can fall short in their response. If you or someone you know ever experience a hate crime, be it based on race, religion, sexuality, or any other protected attribute, it is absolutely crucial to report it.